Alright, let's start all this by installing Debian. We'll go to the official Debian website, simply type Debian in our browser, and go to the system. Here where it says download, or you can go to the main page as you wish, you'll see the .iso file. It says Debian 12.5, if we click here we'll see that a download is activated, which is 629 megabytes. This is the file we need to download, since if we download Debian, the Debian that weighs approximately 4 to 3.5 gigabytes would already be the desktop operating system. In this case, we don't need a desktop operating system, we need an operating system with the least amount of tools because in this case we're going to use it for a server. In this case, I'm going to cancel this because I already have Debian downloaded. Now, once Debian is downloaded, we're going to open our VirtualBox. Remember that to download VirtualBox you simply go to the browser, type VirtualBox here, and go to the main page, simply download the latest version of VirtualBox. Alright, just open it. We're going to create a new machine and here I'm going to name it Debian Docker. Right at this point we should load our ISO image that we just downloaded, but in this case we're not going to load it here, okay? Because if we load the ISO image at this point it will automatically open when we finish configuring the machine, and when it starts it will open another installer. In this case, the operating system. Actually, we want it so that when the operating system starts, it simply allows us to download Debian with the minimum tools. That is, to be able to use it as a server. So, here we're not going to select anything, we're going to leave Debian 64. Click here on Next. Here we're going to select the base memory, which in this case I'm going to select a memory of just 1 gig, not much CPU, just 1 CPU. Click Next here and for the disk, I'm going to select only about 12 gigabytes of disk, minimum resources so that you can see that this. In this case, we can install it with minimum resources. Here we're going to click on Finish. We already have the machine configured, as simple as that. You'll see that when I'm going to start this virtual machine, you'll see that it tells me to please insert a bootable image. Simply here, in this window, we're going to go to Devices, Optical Drives. And in this case, you'll see that here it appears the Debian 12, which I had previously installed. You'll see that I have here Debian 12.4, the one I showed you on the page was 12.5. Simply, you're going to click on this button that says Select a disk file. You can see that here I have Debian 12.4 that I had previously downloaded and that I already have installed by the way. Simply, click Open and once the .iso file is loaded, we're simply going to restart. There it is. Now here we're simply not going to mark the option of graphical installation, but normal installation. Press Enter, OK. Here we're going to choose the language. In this case, I'm going to choose Spanish language. Spanish, Español. Press Enter, OK. I'm going to select the country. In this case, the continent. Well, Latin American. Perfect. Press Enter and wait. Here, to keep it simple, we're going to use the same name for everything. Here, I'm simply going to leave it as Debian. Here we can press Tab or simply click on the arrow down. Yes, click here on Continue, press Enter, Domain Name. In this case, we don't have any domain. Scroll down to continue. OK, here it tells me the superuser password. And likewise, I'm going to use the same password. To see, I check here. Yes, continue. Enter the password again, tab, continue. Full name for the new user. Let's put the same name, let's not complicate things too much with this. Remember that this is simply a test that we are doing or a lab as such. Okay, username for the account, let's also give it Debian. Choose a password for the new user. I'm going to put the same password. Yes, so we don't want to put passwords and names that we won't really remember later. Continue, perfect. It tells me here about disk partitioning. In this case, I'm going to use the whole disk, I have no problem with that. Here, we simply accept, press enter. Again, all files from a partition. Here we can really divide the disk partitions into a home partition and temporary files. In this case, I'm going to leave all the files in one partition. And here we're going to verify that on this screen everything we've previously configured is already there. We can, in this case, undo if we're not satisfied with any of the configurations we've made. In this case, I'm going to click here to finish partitioning. Here it tells us again that if we want to write the changes to the disk, we're going to indicate here that yes. Remember that we have to play with the keyboard arrows and wait. Here it tells me if we want to analyze additional installation media. We're going to say no here. The window is back. Don't think it took us back to the window where we chose the country. We simply choose the country where we're going to use a Debian mirror to perform downloads and everything else. We're going to choose one in the United States. We're not going to complicate things too much. Press enter. And obviously, we're going to choose from Debian.org, press enter. We don't have a proxy server. Scroll down here to continue, tab, continue and wait. Here it asks us if we want to participate in the package usage survey. We don't want to participate in surveys. Here it lists several installation programs. In this case, I'm not going to install any. With the space bar we're going to uncheck these programs. I'm only going to use one, which is the SSH server. Yes, we're going to use it to be able to connect from the Windows CMD, standard utilities. We're not going to install. Here, continue, or we're going to click on tab and continue. Here we're almost done. It's already installing the bootloader. Here it indicates if we want to install the grub bootloader on a main unit. Obviously we're going to indicate yes. Here it gives us the option to manually choose which unit we want it on. In this case, we're going to choose the main unit, which is the SDA. Yes, press enter and wait for it to install the bootloader. I think this is the last step. Yes, it's the last step. The installation is finishing. Let's wait a moment. Okay, let's choose the option to continue to restart and the installation is finished. Okay, let's wait. Very well, here we're going to enter our username and password. That's how easy it is to install Debian to use it as a server. Alright, once we have our Debian operating system installed and ready to go, now what we're going to do is check the network adapter of our virtual machine and configure it with a static IP address. We can simply do that here in Device. We can go to the Network Preferences option to simply verify how our network is configured. In this case, it's configured with a NAT. We're not going to use NAT, we're going to use a bridged adapter. Here it's simply going to take directly my network adapter, which in this case is my physical Ethernet adapter. Simply here we click Accept. After making a configuration like this, if convenient, we can also restart the machine. Actually, restarting the virtual machine is quite fast because, remember that this operating system doesn't have all the tools that a desktop operating system can have, and obviously its boot will be quite fast. We write the username, the password, and that's it. Very well. Now what we're going to do is configure a static IP address on our server. Well, we're simply going to log in as su or as root. We're going to enter our password here and we're already in the console as root. Now we're going to type nano. Nano is simply a tool for editing. Let's go to the etc. directory. Network. Simply and we type interface. That's the file we're going to edit in this case. The file called interface, which is in the network folder, which in turn is also a child folder of the etc. folder. Press enter and you'll see that the file appears. Now let's start to edit this. Here we simply put pound symbols to comment out this line that we're going to add here. I'm simply going to put static address. And then we're going to press enter and we're going to put iface emp0s3 in its static enter address. And in this case I'm going to assign the IP address that the server will have, which would be 192.168.250. I'm going to put 30 or 31. This IP address that I'm configuring here is the IP address that is in the network segment of my current local network. That's why I configured the virtual machine with a bridged adapter. So we press enter, then we put net mask or your network mask. We simply put 255.255.2550. Obviously it's a class C network mask, and the gateway we put gateway 192.168.50.1. Perfect. Once we have these parameters that we simply configured the interface, which is the 0S3 interface, is the network interface that is normally in Linux operating systems like that, and we indicate that we are going to configure it statically. Yes, and we simply add the address that our server will have. We indicate what is the network mask and the gateway, that the gateway obviously is the gateway of my local network. So here to save we simply press Ctrl X. It asks us here if we want to save the file. We're going to press the letter S to say yes and press enter. Yes, here we click the IP command or the ifconfig command also to check the network configuration of our system. Obviously it will tell me that it has not found that command. I'm going to put the IP command, and you'll see that now it gives me, it indicates that the ENP0S3 has not yet assigned an IP address. In this case what we're going to do is restart the system with the systemctl reboot command. We press enter and wait. Now we're going to apply the IP command. And we can see here that it already has assigned the IP address that we have already configured, which is the 250.31. With this I think I can already access through SSH, so let's type CMD in our system to go to the Windows command prompt, and we're simply going to type SSH. It's in capital letters SSH. We put good our username, which in this case is Debian, we put here, and we're going to put the IP address that we have assigned 192.168.250.31. We press enter. Okay, let's try again. Okay, it didn't connect via SSH. I think I know what the problem is. Simply here I'm going to go to this point here, I'm going to press enter, and simply here practically all the folders appear. It's like the main folder of our Windows, and see that here there's a folder that says SSH. We're simply going to delete this folder. Now we're going to try again to connect there. You can see that it has allowed us to connect. We simply indicate if we want to establish the connection. Yes, we press enter, we put our username, and we're already connected via SSH. Quite easy this, because it really allows us the Windows CMD to copy and paste also commands, so thing that we can also do, or we can speed up the work much faster. Well, now that we already have a static IP address configured and we can connect via SSH to our server, simply now we're going to install Docker. So let's type sudo to enter as root. I'm going to put my username and my password, and we simply access as root. Perfect. Well, actually installing Docker on a Linux operating system is quite simple. There are many people who may get tangled up. Many go to the Docker page, obviously also a way to install it, but there's a way to install Docker that's really quite simple, and there are practically few commands that you have to apply. We simply put here apt install docker.io, and we put docker compose. Simply press enter. Okay, it tells us if we want to continue we're going to put the letter S, and there it is already installing docker.io. And Docker Composer, we're going to wait for the installation or download to finish installation. Perfect, it's finished installation. To see the Docker version we can put Docker V, and here we can see that we have a Docker version which is version 20 installed. We already have our operating system ready, and we also have Docker installed on our server operating system.